Good day everyone, I'm Bianca FLAVIER, the first reporter for Chapter 8. This chapter focuses on demotivating office employees. With the right employee motivation techniques, you can unlock the potential in your people. You can increase tenure, improve performance, and reinforce success-building behavior across your entire organization. And it all begins with learning effective ways to motivate employees by creating opportunities for employees to succeed and earn rewards that are personally meaningful and professionally motivating. Employees take aim at specific performance goals in order to earn specific rewards. Their attitude about work can undergo a gradual and pervasive change. In fact, employee motivation techniques like incentive programs may offer short-term rewards, but they can impact long-term elements like employee engagement. Employee engagement is an incredibly important part of any successful business today. Engaged employees work harder, stay longer, and care about customer experience more. Thus, learning how to engage your employees effectively by using the right employee motivation techniques can have a long-term impact on ROI. Here are some of academic theories about motivation can be held to supervisor or manager. The first one is acquire needs theories. We seek achievement, affiliation, or power. Needs are shaped over time by our experience over time. Most of these into three general categories of needs. Achievement. People motivated by achievement need challenging projects. They thrive on overcoming difficult problems or situations. So make sure you can keep them engaged this way. People motivated by achievement work very effectively either alone or with high achievers. When providing feedback, give achievers a fair and balanced appraisal. They want to know what they're doing right and wrong so they can improve. Affiliation. People motivated by affiliation work best in a group environment, so try to integrate them with a team versus working alone whenever possible. They also don't like uncertainty and risk. Therefore, when assigning projects or tasks, save the risky one for other people. When providing feedback to these people, be personal. It's still important to give balanced feedback. But if you start your appraisal by emphasizing their good working relationship and your trust in them, they will likely be more open to what you say. Remember that these people often don't want to stand out, so might be best to praise them in private rather than in front of others. Power. Those with a high need for power work best when they're in charge because they enjoy competition. They do well with goal-oriented projects or tasks. They may also be effective in negotiation or in situations in which another party must be convinced of an idea or goal. When providing feedback, be direct with these members and keep them motivated by helping them further their career goals. We have different preferences. Achievers seek to excel and appreciate effort, frequent recognition of how they are doing. They will avoid low-risk activities that have no chance of a gain. They also avoid high risk where there is a significant chance of failure. Affiliation seekers look for harmonious relationships with other people. They will thus tend to conform and shy away from standing out. They seek approval rather than recognition. Power seekers want either to control other people or to achieve higher goals. They seek neither recognition nor approval from others, only in agreement and compliance. Activation theory. We have a need for arousal, also known as arousal theory. Activation theory describes how mental arousal is necessary for effective functioning in that we need a certain level of activation in order to be sufficiently motivated to achieve goals, do good work, and so on. The Yerkes-Dodson law points out how people need a certain amount of activation to be motivated but not have too much. We have an upper limit to activation, beyond which we become overly stressed and fall into satisfying. People will seek activation through different types of stimulation, including novelty, complexity, variation, and uncertainty. At a low level of activation, performance is decreased due to three factors: a lack of alertness, dulling of senses, limited muscular coordination. This is turn can lead to increased error or accident, and slower completion of tasks. Underactivation also leads to boredom and the person who has low activation preference, where they are happy to daydream or otherwise be lazy. Example, a person designing a job considers carefully the level of activation needed and includes just enough challenges and stimulation to keep the job holder interested but not so much that they get overloaded. Attitude, behavior, consistency. Our attitudes, predispositions to behavior, and actual behaviors are more likely to align if the following factors are true. Our attitude and behavior are both constrained to very specific circumstances. There have been many opportunities to express attitude through behavior. We have a history of attitude, behavior, consistency. The attitudes are based on personal experience rather than being copied from others. The attitudes are proven by past experience. There is no social desirability bias, where the presence of others will lead us into uncharacteristic behavior. We are low in self-monitoring, so we do not distract. The attitude is strongly held and is around core beliefs. If you want people to behave in certain way, check out the above list before assuming their attitude will actually lead to desired behavior. Cognitive evaluation theory. When looking at tasks, we evaluate in terms of how well it meets our needs and to feel competent and in control. If we think we will able to complete the task, we will intrinsically motivated to complete the task, requiring no further external motivation. Where the person has a strong internal locus of control, they will feel are in control of how they behave. Where they have a stronger external locus of control, they will believe the environment or others have a greater influence over what they do. People may see external rewards as achieving some degree of control over them or may see the rewards as informational, such as where they reinforce feelings of competence and self-determination. When people see the reward as mostly of control, they will be motivated by gaining the rewards but not enacting the request behavior. Cognitive evaluation is occasionally also called self-perception theory, although this confuses with BEM self-perception theory. Example, if you tell that I have to run for president, I will not exactly throw my heart into the job. If however, you tell me how the local council is looking for someone like me who wants to help in local school, then I'll be there before you have finished the sentence. When you ask someone to do something, If you want them to be motivated, then ensure that what ifs fall within their current level of competency. 3 goals of people at work that management should understand and practice. To maintain the enthusiasm employees bring their jobs initially, management must understand the 3 sets of goals that the great majority of workers seek from their work and then satisfy those goals. Equity, to be respected and to be treated fairly in areas such as pay, benefits, and job security. Achievement, to be proud of one's jobs, accomplishments, and employer. Camaraderie, to have good, productive relationships with fellow employees. To maintain an enthusiastic workforce, management must meet all 3 goals. Employees who work for companies where just one of these factors is missing are 3 times less enthusiastic workers at companies where all elements are present. One goal cannot be substitute for another. Improved recognition cannot replace better pay. Money cannot substitute for taking pride in a job well done. And alone will not pay the mortgage. What individual managers can do satisfying the 3 goals depends both on organizational policies and the everyday practices of individual managers. If the company has a solid approach to talent management, a bad manager can undermine its unit. On the flip side, smart and empathic managers can overcome a great deal of corporate mismanagement while creating enthusiasm commitment within their units. While individual managers can control or leadership decision, they can still have profound influence on employee motivation. The most important thing is to provide employees with a sense of security, one of which they do not fear that their job will be in jeopardy if their performance is not perfect, and one in which layoffs are considered an extreme last resort, not just another option for dealing with hard times.
Good day everyone, I'm GERELLE LAZARRA and I will continue to discuss the remaining topic. Achievement related. Achievement, it pertains to be proud of one's job accomplishments and employer. Number 1, instill an inspiring purpose. A critical condition for employee enthusiasm is a clear, credible, and inspiring organizational purpose. In effect, a reason for being that translates for workers into a reason for being there that goes above and beyond money. So, every manager should be able to expressly state a strong purpose for his unit. For example, in order to imbue work with a greater sense of purpose, you need to focus on the how and why. The why is a company vision, what company stands for, and what you strive to achieve. The how is your company values. These are fundamental beliefs of the company. It defines how behave, work, interact with one another, and ultimately guide the company on the right path to fulfilling its long-term goals. Next, provide recognition. Managers should be certain that all employee contributions, both large and small, are recognized. Receiving recognition for achievement is one of the most fundamental human needs. So, for example, simply saying great job or you're doing good have a big impact to the employee. Those compliments can make the employee boost their confidence to do their job because they feel that they are appreciated. Be an expeditor for your employees. Incorporating a command and control style is a surefire path to the motivation. When we say expedite, one of its meaning is to accomplish promptly. Expeditors do just that. Their primary responsibility is to maintaining workflow. Expeditor involves range of activities including serving as a linchpin to other business units and managerial levels to represent the best interests and ensure the people to get what they need to succeed. Coach your employees for improvement. A major reason so many managers do not assist subordinates in improving their performance is simply to that they don't know how to do this without irritating or discouraging them. It is easier for employees to accept and welcome feedback for improvement if they know management is basically pleased with that they do and is helping them to do it better. Space limitation presents a full treatment of the subject of giving meaningful feedback of which recognition is a central part. But this key point should be the basis of any feedback plan. First is performance feedback is not the same as annual appraisal. When we say performance feedback, it pertains to the information of an employee receives concerning a rater's evaluative judgment of the employee's performance and the way in which the info is communicated. While annual appraisal, it pertains to as a performance review, performance evaluation, development discussion, or employee appraisal is a method by which the job performance of an employee is documented and evaluated. Second is recognize that workers want to know when they have done poorly. For example, one way to make feedback specific is to highlight past examples of the employee's poor attitude. Give actionable and advice. At the same time, don't forget to give positive feedback. Comments concerning desired improvement should be specific, factual, unemotional, and directed at performance rather than at employees personally. Avoid making overall evaluative remarks such as that work was shoddy or comments about employees' personalities or motives such as you've been careless. Instead, provide specific, concrete details about what you feel needs to be improved and how. Always remember that coaching is central to improving the performance of entire teams. Leaders who coach employees instead of commanding them are able to build a much more talented and agile workforce, which leads to a healthy and growing business. Equity related. Equity pertains to be respected and to be treated fairly in areas such as pay, benefits, and job security. Number 5, communicate fully. One of the most counterproductive rules in business is to distribute information on the basis of need to know. Workers' frustration with an absence of inadequate communication is one of the most negative findings we see expressed on employee attitude surveys. Good communication requires manager to be attuned to what employees want and need to know. The best way to do this is to ask them. Most managers must be disciplined themselves to communicate regularly. One of the biggest communication problem is the assumption that a message has been understood. Follow-up often finds that messages are unclear or misunderstood. Number 6, face up to poor performance. Identify the deal decisively with the 5% of your employees who don't want to work. Most people want to work and be proud of what they do, but there are employees who are, in effect, allergic to work. They'll do just about anything to avoid it. Reacting to poor performance is one of the manager's biggest challenge. Managing poor performance can raise a number of different issues in the organization. Poor performance is not always the result of an employee's carelessness. There can be multiple genuine reasons for lack of performance, and it may vary from person to person. The first is to understand the reason and judge if they are genuine or not. Even if they don't, do not let the other person know about it. Concentrate on their concern and provide solutions accordingly. For example, if your employees are not able to concentrate on their work due to some personal stress, arrange for counseling sessions and make sure they are able to get back on the track. Camaraderie related. Camaraderie, it pertains to have a good and productive relationships with fellow employees. Number 7, promote teamwork. Most work requires a team effort in order to be done effectively. Research shows repeatedly that the quality of a group's effort in areas such as problem solving is usually superior to that of individuals working on their own. Related to all three factors. Number 8, listen and involve. Employees are a rich source of information about how to do a job and how to do it better. This principle has been demonstrated time and again with all kinds of employees, from early workers doing the most routine tasks to high-ranking professionals.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Mica Magno, your last reporter of Chapter 8. My topic is all about employee motivation survey and handling employee frustration. What causes frustration and coping with is frustrated employee and coworkers. Employee motivation survey. What kind of company use employee motivation surveys? Company that value their employees. These surveys are useful in tracking a number of key employees areas such as employee satisfaction, change in dissatisfaction, and employee retention. Using employee motivation survey to monitor employee satisfaction involves simply asking employees how happy and satisfied they are with their current job. Many questions can be designed to find out exactly what the employees like and dislike about their employment situation. This is the first step in improving company current employee relationship, and it's also the first step in improving turnover rates. Importance of motivation survey. Employee motivation is key to an organization's success. It's the level of commitment, drive, and energy that a company and worker bring to the role every day. Our employee motivation survey templates allow you to identify key motivators in your organization, as well as detect what could increase motivation. Handling employee frustration. What is frustration? Frustration is described as a feeling of dissatisfaction, discouragement that occur when an individual needs, goals, or expectations are not met. When you feel that your efforts are being blocked or cannot be achieved, it is quite common to become frustrated and discouraged. Organizations bring together many different people with different personalities that are bound to clash either with each other or with the organization systems at one point or the other. The first step to fixing employee frustration in the workplace is recognizing it. And fortunately, it's not hard to identify when you know what to look for. Here are the common signs of frustrated employees. They have emotional outbursts, they stop trying, they become less productive, they play the blame game. What causes employee frustration? Some common sources of frustration include misunderstanding due to poor communication, working under pressure due to unrealistic expectation, lack of appreciation and recognition from manager, lack of regular, honest feedback from manager, bullying and office politics in the workplace, limited opportunities for career development, slow and inefficient company process and policies, unequal working condition and compensation, being micromanaged by their direct supervisors, and being heard but not listened to their a stark difference. Coping with frustrated employees and coworkers. Number 1, for polite yet direct honesty. Express your specific concern as kindly but as directly as possible. Number 2, try to speak to your coworkers' values. Knowing what a coworker's highest values are is a great way to understand where he or she is coming from. Number 3, take an honest look at your behavior and beliefs. The point in this thought is to practice a little humility. Number 4, create some space. Sometimes, the most effective way to deal with the frustrating coworkers is to put some distance between you and him or her. Guidelines to communication. Number 1, if there is a potential for violence, make sure you and fellow coworkers are protected and safe before approaching the frustrated or angry person. Number 2, ask the person what they are frustrated about. Listen for the unmet expectation, need or demand. Be as empathetic as possible and relate to their anger. Number 3, disengage your own feelings. Do not lose your temper and take time to listen carefully. Do not interrupt the angry person or tell them to calm down. Never blame the person or use praise like you should have or you can't. Use proper body language, relax your body, sit or stand side by side, rather than across from frustrated person. Taking a similar instance, if they are sitting, you should sit. If they are standing, you should stand. Number 5, with serious anger or repeated situation, refuse to deal with the angry person until the air has cleared. Back out gracefully by saying something like, "We need to discuss this. Let's talk about it later." Come back when you and the other person are more calm and in a mood for rational discussions about the problem. Number 6, guide the discussion or dialogue. It is important to determine the scope of the problem. Discusses the importance of distinguishing between discussion and dialogue. Discussion decomposes issues in order to make a decision. Dialogue is the best use when considering new options, evaluating assumptions, and choosing alternative. Dialogue is important when problems are large in scope, whereas discussion is generally adequate from resolving smaller individual problems. Number 7, develop a plan to handle problems in the future. Thank you for listening to the reporter of Chapter 8. Hope you adopt some useful information in our report. Again, thank you and God bless.